Two iconic breweries.
Two flagship brews.
On this Heads Up Brewcast,
we pick a winner. Well, welcome to BGTV. Greg and Shane here in our studio in Glencoe, Minnesota. This is indeed going to be a fun one.
It is.
I've been looking forward to this one because these are two kind of iconic brews. Another pale ale comparison. Yeah.
These end up being the flagship beers of both these companies.
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada and Summit.
Yeah. And of course, Summit out of St. Paul, Minnesota, not too far from where we're at.
Right.
It's drivable. And Sierra Nevada, maybe not so much drivable.
They got a couple places, one in California.
Yep. And the other one just outside of Asheville, North Carolina.
Yep.
They built another facility there so they could help feed the East Coast, basically, without shipping all the way from California over, which makes great sense. And that's kind of a hotbed of breweries right there in Asheville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what we're going to do today is we're going to compare these beers and talk about the breweries a little bit. We're going to give these a rating. And at the end, we're going to choose a winner.
Right.
Another Heads Up Brewcast is what this is.
It is. It is. We're having some fun with those. I hope you are too. And then at some point, we'll take some of our winners and they can duke it out.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do that for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Which should we start with, Greg?
Well, let's start with the homie.
Okay.
Yeah, the one closest to.
Okay. The home field advantage.
There you go.
The home field advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's give that a shot.
Yeah. What are you looking at, Greg?
that thing on your head.
Well, it's a hat.
Oh,
it's a BeerGuysTV hat, actually.
Well, I was going to ask you. It's got our colors. Where'd you get that?
Yeah. Well, my daughter's into crocheting.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
wow, she crocheted that.
She crocheted this hat for me, and gave it to me for Christmas.
Wow.
I know.
I bet you it's nice and toasty.
It is. It is nice and warm. I'll tell you what.
Wow. Keep that noggin ears. It needs all the heat it can get.
It needs. Yeah. It needs to stay warm, right?
Right.
Well, take a look at this beer here. That's a nice golden color.
Right. It is. It's yeah.
Kind of matches
amberish. Yeah. Amberish. Well, a light. That's.
Yeah. So this beer is brewed with UK Golding hops, Bugle, Cascade, and Pilgrim.
So 4 different hops in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this one was the first beer that they brewed, the extra pale ale.
This was their
flagship.
It got the ball rolling for what's his name?
Well, that's an interesting story, isn't it?
It is. I can't even. I always goof it up.
Well, Mark Stutrud. I'm going to say Stutrud.
I think you're right.
Okay, so he was going to name his brewery Stutrud Brewing, or
and everybody
something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines. But people couldn't pronounce the name. We have a hard time pronouncing the name.
Yeah, I know I do.
Yeah. So he named it Summit Brewing after the iconic Summit Avenue in St. Paul.
Yeah, that's a busy area in St. Paul, Minnesota, and that seems appropriate.
Yeah,
and it fits right in, and it's I believe they're still in the same location today.
Mm-hmm.
They've expanded, of course. In fact, just recently, I think in 2018, they redid their Rathskeller. Have you been there?
I have not.
I was there once, and I stopped at the wrong time. The tap room wasn't open. I said, "Well, that's a bummer."
Oh, shoot!
I know. So maybe we're gonna make a road trip.
We have to make a BeerGuysTV trip.
Let's check out this brew again. This is an extra pale ale versus a pale ale. Now they're super similar. The only difference that I'm aware of is that a lot of times an extra pale ale can be a little bit lighter on the ABV.
Okay.
And maybe not quite as bold, if you will. They say. Sometimes they say maybe an extra pale ale can be a little bit more sessionable and maybe not. But this one's got 4 different hops in it. I find that.
Yeah.
It's always been what's nice about this one too, at least around Minnesota or the upper Midwest, because it's in 5-state region up here: Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and maybe the fringes of some other states. And it's kind of like one you find on tap quite a bit.
Yeah, around here in the Midwest, it's on tap almost everywhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mainstay.
Yeah. Smell a little bit of malt and a little bit of
yes.
I guess it's one of those hops you mentioned. No, I'm not real familiar with the UK Golding hop very much. You don't see that one very often.
No. Uh-uh. So what's this got for ABV and IBU, Greg?
Now this one comes in at 5.1% on the ABV.
Okay.
So it's very sessionable, and 49 IBUs.
Oh, that's
so
kind of
it's got,
there.
should have, yeah, for an extra pale ale, it's got a little more hop than you would imagine. So. Nice, crisp, clean finish to it.
Yeah, and it's got a full body. It's not like a heavy mouthfeel, but it's full bodied for sure. A lot of malt. I get a lot of malt in this one.
Well, and I think their malts are using a 2-row pale and also crystal malt in this one. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm
kind of digging that hat.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it. I will let her know.
Yeah, you tell her like I was just giving you a hard time at first because you always wear the other flat caps.
Right.
I thought, but yeah, she crocheted that by hand. Well,
she did. I know.
It's good.
It's really
yeah. You're styling. Beer guy styling right there.
Beer guy styling.
Sure. So anyway, if I have any notes of any kind that might be interesting there. But anyway, I get maybe a tick of sweetness, maybe a little bit of caramely.
Yeah. I'm getting the caramel.
Yeah,
okay. I get the caramel.
Too. So,
yep.
Okay.
But the hops, there's a hop bite to this one.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't expect it as much being an extra pale ale, going by what they say anyway, but it's there.
Do you think this is like a step between a pale ale and an IPA? That little extra?
It's actually supposed to be the other way.
Yeah,
but it tastes.
But the hop bite.
But I agree with you. I think it does fill that gap a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it's a good beer that goes with a lot of different foods. Burgers, hot dogs.
I think that's why you see it at a lot of brew pubs, restaurants, where you can get food because it matches up so well.
Right.
I think that
pizza.
For
sure.
Yeah. Stop it! You're making me hungry. Boy, this might it'll be interesting how
this is
how it matches up.
This is going to be a very interesting one because of how these two kind of match up. Now, Summit started in 1986.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and on Summit Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota, with what's his name?
Mark Stutrid.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Stutrid.
We're going to go with that. What he said.
And it's the 25th largest brewery in the U.S. right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Or as of 2016 or 17, anyway.
Right. Yeah. It might have. There's so many breweries now, but things change. But yeah, that's. I believe you're right.
Yeah, and it's independently owned and operated. It still is.
Right.
Since the beginning. Yeah.
Which is almost becoming a rarity.
Right.
A lot of these bigger breweries are buying out these smaller, mid-sized breweries. So, but nice that Mark, what's his name, and company are still doing their own thing there.
Right.
And they employ quite a few people there in St. Paul, Minnesota. So good for them.
All right. Well, that's a good tasting. I'm gonna set this aside.
Okay.
Then we're gonna go with the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
All right.
This one here, Sierra Nevada started in 1980.
Right, just a couple of guys, and they thought they were home brewers, I believe. And they, out of Chico, California.
Chico, California.
Chico.
Well, I think I did a little aggressive.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's a little...
Let that settle down a bit. Should get some good aromas off of that, though.
Yeah, it smells good. It smells good. See if I got myself any notes. See, I got this fancy thing now. I've got notes right here. I can look at paper and,
ABV and IBU?
Well, on this one, it comes in at 5.6 on the ABV and 38 IBU. So less IBUs than the Summit.
Sure.
Which I was kind of surprised on. And as you mentioned, 1979, they opened up in Chico. And then this beer came out in 1980.
Okay, that's where it is. Yep.
So they got going, and then they said, let's make this beer, and away they went.
First one out there, the first one brewed there, I think.
Yeah.
So it was established in 79. This is the first beer. It's probably late 79 is my guess.
Probably. It was before they got it all together and exactly where they were going to release something.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is another beer, and like you said, it's a hallmark beer that they have that you find most anywhere. around the U.S. And they do distribute to all 50. So
And Sierra Nevada is, as of 2016, the seventh largest brewery in the U.S.
they are.
Yeah.
See, well, especially after, like I say, I went over to Mill River, North Carolina, which I mentioned Asheville. That's just outside. It's like a suburb of Asheville.
Okay.
We were going to go there once before the COVID thing happened, and so we had our plans got canceled. But Carol and I were both we were going to make a little side trip there. We were going to be in Gatlinburg, and we were going to let's go over there and check out Sierra Nevada and some others, but that all got foiled.
Foiled?
But, yeah, foiled.
Your plans got foiled.
They got foiled.
Well,
I like what it says there on the can. It does say family owned, operated, and argued over.
I do like that.
That's probably truer than they care to. I'm sure they have in their days.
Exactly, and it still is. It still is family owned, and that's a feat as well.
It is. Yeah. One thing, and I know that they've got a host of. I mean, they are a patriarch of the craft beer industry. I mean, I think they're right there getting the whole craft beer revolution going. Yeah, I know you like a lot of their beers.
Oh, I like a lot of Sierra Nevada stuff.
Yeah,
and I like a lot of Summit stuff as well. I mean, they're both very good brewers, and one of the things that I really like about one of the beers I like from Sierra Nevada is their Torpedo IPA.
Oh, I know you're always talking about that. Oh, the torpedoes!
I know I gotta get some Torpedo, right?
Yeah.
And an interesting thing with Torpedo is that they invented what's called the hop torpedo.
They did?
Yep.
What is that then?
So what it is, it's a vessel that is actually in the shape of a torpedo, and it holds 75 pounds of hops. Like whole cone hops.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
And what they do is after the boil, they run that mash through the hop torpedo, and it just picks up all the
kind of condenses.
Yeah, condenses. It picks that up and goes right back into the fermenter.
Sort of like a form of dry hopping. Then.
Yes, it's a form of dry hopping, and so the Torpedo IPA I think is kind of named after that process.
So they invented something.
They invented something.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. Well,
good for them. Well, they've done a good job. I know you like their Bigfoot series, and
the big.
We like the Celebration Ale, which comes out around Christmas time. And there's been a bunch of them.
A bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one is brewed with Cascade.
Yes.
Yep.
Which you would expect. And I was surprised that there was Cascade in the Summit as well, but they had the other three to go with it.
Right.
Well, this one I believe is just Cascade in this one. Again, 5.6 on the ABV, 38 IBUs. So
I'm getting a lot of floral notes off of this.
Oh yeah,
Not much for citrus at all, which I wouldn't expect because it's more of a floral hop.
Yeah, and I find this more mellow than the EPA.
Very much more mellow.
And in that one, my understanding is extra pale ales or EPAs are supposed to be just kind of a step easier. But this is to me smoother than the
smoother, way less hot bite.
Yeah. Yep.
Than the Summit.
Yep. I picked a little bit more sweetness and, like I said, a little bit of floral.
I agree with the sweetness. The malt is there as well.
Yeah,
it's a good malt. Well balanced.
Must be they use a caramelized malt in that, and that must be obviously where we're getting some of that. And interesting.
But look at that. The color is very close.
Yeah, this one's just a little more.
Maybe clear?
I was going to say clear, or there's another word I wanted to use, but this one does have just a tick of haze to it. Not haze, that's probably not the wrong word, but cloudiness.
Cloudiness, yeah.
But this one's a little more crystal clear on the EPA. But
I mean, I'm going to rate the Sierra Nevada. My rating for BeerGuysTV is it's a buy it.
What?
Yeah, it's a buy it. It's a very good, like, what I would consider an everyday beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something to keep in the fridge.
Yep, and you can have it anytime. It's not off-putting by any means. It's well balanced, nice sweetness, nice hop to it, not over the top, very drinkable. And this also would pair with a lot of foods.
Yep, and I think again that's why you see this one, and then there are other hot ticket one right now is Hazy Little Thing.
Yes.
Hazy IPA. You see
Yep.
that from Sierra Nevada all over the place. But that and this you see quite a bit. But it does pair it up with a lot of foods. Very versatile. And at 5.6, it's not going to knock you on your keister. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
fairly sessionable.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's very tasty. This is an enjoyable brew for sure. I too would give it a buy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, you can't really go wrong with this one. This is a fail safe right here. Yep. Yep. You can't go wrong with this one at all.
I think somebody who just wants to kind of delve into the craft beer scene.
Right. They're just kind of moving up the ladders nice and slow. This is a good step.
This would be a good step one for them to. Let's say their stouts are kind of easy to get into.
Right, because they're a little bit sweeter. Yep. People are afraid of the dark beer, but don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And then,
Then when you get into more of the IPAs, there's some that you just don't want to start with because they will put you off. But this one here you could start with and kind of ease into that.
Right. There's a nice progression that you could get into with these. But yeah, that's definitely that's a buy it for me too. So good. Now, back to do we go back and rate our
we're going to rate the Summit because we didn't do that yet.
Right.
All right. And as we're rating this, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. If you like this episode, hit the thumbs up for us. That really helps us out a lot.
And don't forget to, or be afraid of leaving a comment. We reply to them all. That helps us a little bit too, so we appreciate that. Yeah. Leave comments, and if you tried some of these beers, let us know what you think or your take on them as well. So again, thanks for the support there. Now, coming from that to the Summit, it's got a little more. It's a little sharper. But still, that's good. I think it leaves a nice clean palate.
This is very crisp and clean.
Yep.
And it's a little less sweet.
Oh, for sure. Yep. I agree.
More hop bite though.
Yep.
What are you going to give this one?
I'm going to give this one a buy it as well. It's a softer buy it, but still a buy it.
Okay.
Nonetheless.
Okay.
So be careful. Gee, you're just getting warmed up.
Okay. And
you?
And me, I am going to give this one a buy it as well. I do like the complex happiness of this one, but it's very tame compared to some pale ales or IPAs, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Not quite as sweet, but it's something that I would keep in the fridge and have, grilling a burger or having a pizza or whatever.
Right. Some friends come over and that maybe aren't into the heavy duty IPAs and whatever. They could probably get either one of these really, and enjoy those. But
So this is going to be a tough one to pick a winner.
Pick a favorite. I think I know mine.
Do you? Okay. Yep. I got to go back and forth a little bit.
Still liking that hat.
Okay.
This one, I don't know if these these aren't proper glasses, folks, and we know, but it's just they're easier. We're being lazy, but there's a fair amount of lacing really on both of them, but especially on this one, which is the
what?
Incoming!
There goes damn the torpedoes!
Full speed ahead.
So, for those that don't know what lacing is where you swirl on the glass and a lot of the foam kind of sticks to the side of the glass.
Right, yeah.
And that just says there's a little bit more sugars in the beer.
Right, and it's got a little bit something to do with the hop as well.
Yep.
And there's different different names for the type of lacing. We won't get into all that. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
But, there's a whole bunch cathedral and all kinds of things with the lacing and all that. But
okay, so I'm going back and forth. And I have a hard time picking a winner. So I'm going to call this one a tie.
What?
For me. That's a tie for me.
That sounds like a cop-out.
So what
do you think, folks?
What do you got over there?
Again, leave in the comments if you think it's a cop-out. We'll reply accordingly. I think it's a tie. No,
what?
I'm just kidding. I'm going to go out. I'm going to pick a favorite. On this.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Sierra Nevada.
All right.
That's taking nothing away from the EPA, but if I had to pick one, just because it's just a little bit tad sweeter and a little bit smoother on the back end, I would go with the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
All right. Well,
you can't go wrong with either one. But
that is it. That's the winner of this Heads Up Brewcast, because I did a tie, but you picked a winner, and that means there's a winner.
All right, so we've got a winner. So down the road at some point, Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale is going to take on whatever.
That's right.
So let the battles begin. Huh? Very good. Well, that was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
Another Pale Ale comparison, and we'll see what else we continue to go up with. And there's so many beer. I mean, you could go on till the cows come home with matching them up here. But these were so close as far as their history and the type of beer and all that stuff. That this was a good matchup.
A very good matchup.
Yeah. So good job, Shane.
Well, thanks, Greg.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Thanks for watching. And that brings us to it's time for Beers to Ya. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy some of these beers. Again, let us know what you think. And I think I have to keep the fridge full. I need a bigger fridge.
Yeah, for sure. If you like this video, check out one of these videos coming up right here.
There you go.